Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shaylin and I own All Loose Crochet, where we sell patterns, plushies, and more. Today is November 1st and it is officially Christmas. Yesterday was obviously Halloween and my household is sick right now. I have a little cold that I'm getting over, but my husband and daughter are still pretty sick. So we did have to skip Halloween yesterday, which I was super bummed out about because she's only 2. So it was her second Halloween and we had to skip it. But anyway, Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. So let me know what you guys did for Halloween. I'm super curious. Did you go out? Did you dress up, trick or treat? If you dressed up, what wore you? And just let me know what you did for the day to celebrate. Because we are moving into the Christmas season, I decided to do a little fun series on my channel called Crochetmas. So it's basically just going to be some crochet themed videos. I don't know if every single video until Christmas is going to be crochet themed, but a lot of them will be, and hopefully at least the majority, because Christmas is overall my favorite holiday. I love the season. I'm very bummed also that I'm not decorating this year, because as you can see behind me, I'm in my office, but most of my stuff is packed away. My shelves are pretty empty and sparse compared to what they were. I only have out exactly what I need, like packing supplies and products that I sell, things like that, because I'm moving. So we packed up all of our Christmas supplies too. Every single decoration is packed away. No Christmas tree this year at our house. We'll be going to our in-laws. It's definitely not going to be a very festive background as I had hoped, but next year will be for sure. This is my first year doing YouTube for Christmas, so I thought this would be a really fun series, but it sucks that it's not going to be, festive in the background. But like I said, we're still going to make festive videos and have Christmas themed crochet items. Lots of Christmas stuff is what I plan on crocheting because it's just such a fun time of year. It's so joyful, nostalgic of like my childhood. So this is going to be a very Christmassy channel for the next 2 months. So with that being said, today's video is going to be obviously Christmas themed, and we're going to be running through 10 Christmas patterns that I found that are all free that I think would be so much fun to crochet this season. I think they will be great inspiration for if you don't know what to crochet, you don't know what to bring to market, and like I said, they're free, so what gets better than that? I have them on my iPad, so I am going to be referencing this throughout the video, but I will pop up every pattern over here. Gonna go ahead and scoot over a little so there's room for the pattern itself, or for the picture of the pattern. So we are going to go ahead and start off with the first one. This is what I think is the easiest one, and it is also no sew, and it's for these little Christmas lights. So these would be great as ornaments, or you could string them up and make a garland like the designer did also. I think these would be really fun to, one, like I said, make as ornaments for your Christmas tree. You could crochet them singular with a little loop and they'll hang up perfectly, or if you make the garland, it'd be really fun to decorate a fireplace, a wall in your house, hang up on curtains in your living room. If this is not your style for your own home Christmas decor, I think these would be really fun to bring to a market. They look like they work up really quickly, so that makes them market prep friendly, and also they would make a great decor piece that is also for sale. Especially if you have a market tent, it would be really cool to kind of string these through the top of the tent, and like I said, it decorates your booth for Christmas, which I just think attracts customers at this time of year. And then you could also have a little price tag on it if you do want to sell it and not keep it for yourself. These are by Claire the Crochet Lady on Instagram. I will have all of the links to the patterns below, but I think these would be so fun in just so many different colors. You could do really just the typical green and red, or you could do every single color, which is probably what I would do because I like the more maximalist tacky Christmas, I guess you could say. That's what I like to do. It just reminds me of the early 2000s and 90s kind of Christmas. So I think this would be a very fun pattern that can get you started and working into the fun Christmas season. Up next, this pattern I don't think is a no-sew, not no-sew, but it is low-sew, it looks like. So this is for a candy cane jelly cat. Jelly cats are really popular this year, and obviously this is not a jelly cat, but it's inspired by jelly cats, it looks like, by the legs. I think this is a super fun pattern. I think it would be so cute made in a blanket yarn. Blanket yarn is what I usually like to work with. It's my favorite kind of yarn, whereas this one is worked up in acrylic yarn. So I do think blanket yarn would obviously turn out a lot larger, especially if you use like an 8mm hook, which is what I use for blanket yarn for a Bernat blanket. And this would work up to be massive. And also, if you don't like the look of it having like a face on it and being basically a character, you can remove the face and the legs, and it would just make a really cool candy cane pillow to stick on your couch. This is one that is definitely on my list this year. I definitely want to make it. I don't know if I'm going to give it the legs or not, or just do a candy cane pillow to keep for my Christmas decor for the future to decorate my house. But either way, I think it's a really fun pattern that looks very easy. It is by Shaky Hand Studio on Instagram, and they have the entire pattern throughout their Instagram carousel, which makes it so much easier. I have a folder saved to my iPad or to my Instagram with all of my Christmas crochet pattern inspiration. This is one of the first ones I saved. I am so excited to make it. I think it's going to be so fun for the season. Up next, this one is more unique, which I tried to stick with unique patterns this year, and the candy cane one is really unique too. It's not one I've seen before, but this one is a little bit more niche, and it is Snoopy with a Santa hat. Snoopy is really popular, obviously. My dad used to watch Charlie Brown when he was a kid, so Snoopy has been around forever, but I'm a very nostalgic character, especially for the holidays, and this is such a fun make. I know that there are so many Snoopy lovers. He is like almost an iconic character, I guess you can say. He's just, everybody loves him. He's so popular and maintained his popularity over all these years and generations, so I think he would be a super fun guy to crochet. I think if you brought him to a market, he'd probably be snatched up immediately because Snoopy has a really large fan base, kind of like Hello Kitty does. So I do think he would be a fun pattern. I also think he would be adorable with a beanie if you modified the Santa hat and made it into a beanie. And then you can even do the scarf any color you want. I just think there's so many different little accessories you can make for him, and you can even make him for different seasons. You can make different accessories for the different holidays. But for us, I do think he's a lot of fun, and he is an iconic Christmas character. Personally, I would make him also in blanket yarn. He would be huge, maybe too big because this is an acrylic yarn and it looks like it's a pretty decent size already, but I'm a jumbo plushie lover, so I think in a blanket yarn he would be really, really cool. This, like I said, is acrylic, so even a chenille yarn he would be a lot larger, so you can only imagine how big he would be in a blanket yarn. But he is on my list. I don't know if I'll get around to him this year because he's not at the top of my list, but hopefully I can. I really want a lot of variety in my Christmas makes and plushies this year, so I thought I would include him in the video because he's not your typical plushie that you see anywhere, and him for free is great. The next pattern I found is by far the most unique one in this group. It is so cool. I don't know how the designer came up with this, but it's pretty brilliant. It's just such a cool plushie that is not like a classic in any way. It's not one like I've seen before ever. It's not an idea that would have ever popped into my head, but I love it. So this is for a beaver carrying a Christmas tree, and it's very similar to, I think the movie is called Christmas Family Vacation or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a very popular movie from I think like the 90s or something, and it's one that I used to watch all the time as a kid, but where they drive off from getting a Christmas tree with their sedan and the tree's on top of the roof. It's a very similar concept, except as a beaver carrying it. It's just so silly and goofy and like just so funny, and it's what I love about crochet is that you can make anything in the world. It can be as quirky as you want or as whimsical as you want, but it's probably going to make sense. Like you can do it in a way to where they suit each other and it's adorable, and this designer did it perfectly. This pattern is by the Mary J, and this one is 100% on my list this year. I plan on making it. It is higher up on my list because it is just such a unique design. I think it would also be really cool, the same concept with a possum carrying it. I just think it would be so funny, or maybe like a raccoon. So this is something that I definitely want to make. It doesn't look like a super complicated project as far as the sewing. I definitely see some details that need to be sewn on, but nothing major, nothing hard. And this honestly looks like it might work up quick enough to where you could bring like 3 or 4 to your market, and they would be really good just because they're so quirky and you're not going to see this anywhere else. I've never seen any kind of company mass produce a plushie like this before. I've never seen any crocheters make anything like this before. So I think this is a great Christmas pattern for the holiday season that is not your typical Christmas pattern, but it is definitely really fun and unique, and it's gonna stand out. The next pattern is a more typical Christmas thing, but it's very fun still. This is for a snowman car hanger. So I liked these because car hangers are so popular. I mean, the second I got a car when I was 16, that was the first thing I did, was put a car hanger in there and decorate the inside of the car. It just makes it fun and girly and whatever. It's just so exciting to do. So I thought this was a lot of fun, and I definitely want to make some of these. I think these would be fun too as ornaments. I think it'd be so great to bring these to a market with like a 4-foot tall tree on top of one of your tables and use that as a display and hang these up with other crocheted ornaments. That way you can market them as ornaments or car hangers, and it's just such a fun little thing. People could even use it as a keychain for their bag. I know things like this are just fun to switch around for the holiday season, so I thought, why not these two? These don't look like a hard project. They look pretty low sew. Honestly, I feel like if you don't do the hat, you probably don't have to sew at all. The scarf is not even sewn on. It's crocheted around it, which is really cool and an interesting way that they did it. So this is not something that you would have to sew at all if you skip the hat. And if you do include the hat, then it's really, really quick to sew on. I definitely think this is a really really fun pattern, something that I plan on making. I don't know if I'll do a car hanger or an ornament for my Christmas tree, but I plan on doing this. If not this year, definitely next year. Like I said, I have it saved to my Crochetmas album because this is something that I want to make that I love. I think it is so cute. Also, this pattern, just looking at the photos and the detail, they did a really great job. The photos are like professional quality. They look amazing. So they did a great job at explaining everything. All the steps are so extremely clear. I think this one is probably one of the most beginner-friendly patterns on here. This one and the light ornaments. This is great for a beginner and somebody who is more advanced. Anyone can crochet this, which I love. These would also be really fun for like a white elephant gift, or if you do handmade gifts for everybody in your family, you can gift everybody a little snowman that probably works up really, really quickly, is low sew or no sew, and everybody is gonna love it. This next pattern I found is another one that is not gonna be super, super Christmassy, but more wintry. And it's not your typical Christmas theme, but it is so fun. This is for a baby Yeti. The thing that I love about this pattern so much is the shape of it. I think this would be perfect with weighted legs and a weighted body because it has like that floppier kind of build, it looks like. So you put it together and it kind of will flop around depending on how you hold it, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be such a stiff plushie that stands up with 2 legs and 2 arms, if that makes any sense. I really like this style of plushie. This is a style that I have been loving lately. It's like my Highland cows that I've been making. This is a very similar style that is really popular, and I think it is so fun. Another thing that I love about it is that the feet are so big, and I think this would make a perfect Bigfoot if you just change the colors to some browns and tans. So this could totally be worked up in multiple ways. And I also thought for Valentine's Day, you could make it pink and red and do like a little love bitten monster. There's just so much versatility with this pattern, and it's intended as a wintry Christmas pattern, but it works up so many ways that I think it's going to be so much fun. This is one that I definitely want to make this year too. I love that it also sits up on its own because at my markets I bring shelves that go on top of tables, and then usually I bring 1 or 2 of these shelves too where I need plushies that sit on their own or stand on their own. So this one will be perfect on that shelf, and I definitely want to make some of these for my next market, maybe in some different colors, and have little Yetis, Bigfoot, and monsters there. It's another one too where they have amazing photos. Everything is so organized. It's such a high quality pattern. I'm very excited to make it, and I can't believe it's free because this is just so cool and such a cool, unique idea. I'm very excited for it and definitely cannot wait to make it. The next pattern on our Christmas list is definitely another one that is very high up there, and I will be making it. I actually already picked out the yarn for this one. This is for baby reindeer. So as you can see, it's an acrylic yarn, but like I said, I usually use Bernat blanket, so I think this is going to be really, really fun to make in a Bernat blanket with an 8mm hook. It will be huge, and I like this too because it has a similar build to the Highland cows, which same thing, gonna be very floppy, kind of like the Yeti, but this one's a little bit different, the style. But I think this will be a lot of fun to maybe even make weighted with weighted limbs and a weighted body. Just such a cool little character. I'm gonna do a red nose on it to make it Rudolph. And I also thought it would be a lot of fun, if I have time for it, to mix the first pattern of the Christmas lights with this one. I think the Christmas lights would be done really cool in acrylic yarn and wrapped around the antlers of this one. That would be such a fun design and a good way to mix up 2 patterns, and would make for some really cool content too. Just, I think that'd be awesome to post on Instagram, 2 patterns that you use to come together. Give credit to both of the designers. I think it'd just be a really cool Christmassy idea that would probably be really popular too at markets. Another thing that I love about this pattern is that there are 2 different head styles. So there's one with a wider muzzle and one with one that is much more narrow. I always love when patterns have more versatility and more options, and the fact that they included that in a free pattern is pretty crazy. They did not have to include a free pattern at all, but the fact that they added so much detail is definitely really cool from the designer. So I'm very excited to make this one. I don't know which muzzle style I'm going to make next, but I think I'm leaning towards the more narrow one so far, but I do plan on making this very, very soon. Sorry, my voice is kind of going. Like I said, I am getting over a cold, so my voice has been in and out lately. Oh, sorry about that, but just bear with me. The next one is by the exact same designer, and it is for a Santa Claus. So this is the same thing where it's made in acrylic, but I think if you made it in a Bernat blanket yarn, he would work up to be very big, and I think he would look so cool in a Christmas themed living room, just like sitting on the couch. I have a giant Grinch plushie that is not crocheted, but he sits on my couch every year for Christmas, and I think that Santa would be so cool next to him. This is one that I definitely want to make in the future. I don't know if I will have time to make it this year. However, it is on my list, of course, saved in the Christmas folder in my iPad, but I love him. I love that his belt is just color changed and it doesn't look like it's a separate piece sewn on. And this pattern looks so well done. It is just so perfectly organized and crisp. They just look amazing. And I think this is very straightforward, very easy to do. It does look like she used a very, very thin yarn. It looks even thinner than your typical acrylic yarn. So I don't know what kind of yarn she used exactly, but she used a 1.5 millimeter hook. And I'm sure it's the same for the reindeer too. So if you did this with a Bernat blanket yarn and an 8 millimeter hook, he would probably be pretty massive because that is a huge difference. Okay guys, it is the next day, and as you can tell, my voice is terrible. I ended up having to cut some recording short yesterday because I was just losing my voice. I couldn't talk anymore, and even though it sounds a lot worse, I feel totally fine, but I'm definitely having to stay super hydrated, have a lot of cough drops, stuff like that, because my voice is going. And I wanted to finish this video for you guys without having to rush through it too much, because I still have a lot of work to do for the rest of my week. I have to do voiceovers for my content, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that my voice is better and I don't strain it too much. But I had 3 more patterns to share with you guys. Sorry I sound crazy right now. I literally feel perfect, but my voice sounds terrible. Anyway, the next Christmas pattern I wanted to show you is another one of my favorites on this list. It is called the Meanie Greenie, and it's by Joanna Amigurumi. This pattern is so much fun. It almost looks like she made it out of a posh yarn. It is super teeny tiny. It looks, and I love the eyelids on it. I just love all the detail for a plushie that is so small. This one looks so market prep friendly, and to be honest, I think I'm gonna make this one for each of my nieces and nephews because some of them might be a little bit too young for it, so maybe I'll wait till the following year. But my older niece and nephew, they like The Grinch, they love this movie, so this is one that is definitely on my list. My husband and I also love The Grinch, so I'll probably just make it for ourselves too. It'd be really fun to put on our tree, a little Grinch ornament. And it looks like you could even kind of mod it to do just the Grinch head, which would make a really cool ornament too, which is something that I might do for markets. But this is one that I definitely want to make. I'll probably do it in a Bernat, because I don't know if you can get your hands on Posh anymore now that Joann's is closed, but maybe Michael's sells a dupe. I will have to look, but I do think this would be a lot of fun to make, and if I can get my hands on a Posh this color, I definitely will. I know also Premier Basics has a yarn that is similar in color to this that works up well with like a 7 millimeter hook, so that's another option. This is definitely one that I will be making this year and I'm very excited for. It is just such a fun pattern, and the Grinch is so popular, so I really think this will do so well in any crowd. The next pattern is one of my own, shameless plug, but I love this pattern. It is my Christmas pickle pattern. I have it for free or $1 on Etsy if you want the PDF, but you can just get it on my Instagram totally free. It is a no-sew pattern, and I love this pattern because crochet pickles are so easy. It's really just my pickle pattern with a modification, and like I said, it's totally no-sew. You just work it up all the way, and then you can attach the hat with a tail of yarn. You'll see how to do it. It is very basic. It just involves some color changes, and I love the face on it. The blush makes it so cute. I made, I think, only 2 of these last year, but I want to make some more this year for my markets. Something else fun that I did is I double stranded a scrubby yarn with a white blanket yarn, and it made for the perfect little sparkly effect, which is like a good little tip or hack if you ever want sparkly yarn and you can't get your hands on the Bernat sparkle yarn. Just mix a scrubby yarn with it, double strand it, use the exact same hook size that you were going to use already because it is so thin, the scrubby yarn, that it doesn't make a difference, and add some little sparkles and glimmer to your yarn. It's really fun, a cool effect that I love to do. So this is one that I'll be making this year as well, and probably jumbo. It'd be fun to make one of these really large to go on a couch or something, just like a silly little Christmas decoration. I think these would also be really cool to have at markets in a large pickle jar. I know that Koozie Crafts does a pickle jar at her markets, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to do the same concept but with Christmas pickles. The final pattern is going to be for a more winter themed pattern. It is these really cute penguins. These are so adorable. I love all the different color combinations that they did. This pattern is a little bit more advanced just because of the color changes, but I would still consider it to be pretty beginner friendly. Once you know how to do color changes, they're really easy and it just becomes second nature. So I think these would be very fun to make. I want to make a couple of them, and how cute would it be to have them on display, a bunch of little penguins at a market in like a little basket or just grouped together. It'll be like a little scene from Happy Feet. I think this is such a fun pattern. The eyes on this also have snowflakes, which I don't know where they got those eyes. Maybe they made them themselves, I'm not sure, but this is by Casey Crochet Critters. But I just think this is a beautiful pattern. They look so cute. I've only made one penguin before, if I remember correctly, and I brought it to a market and it sold immediately. So I wish I had made a lot more, but this looks like a perfect pattern. They don't look like they're too big. I think she made them in, it looks like a Sweet Snuggles yarn, but I'm not sure exactly exactly which one it is, but they're still very small in the maker's hand. So I think they'll work up to be a really good size in a blanket yarn, but they won't be too big, probably making them pretty market prep friendly. So those are all 10 patterns to start off the holiday season for some crochet inspiration. Let me know if you would like to see another one of these kinds of videos in the future for some different seasonal inspiration, and I would love to make it. I will be making quite a few of these, and you guys will see it in my upcoming content. Again, I'm so sorry for my voice throughout the video and like breaking and cracking all the time and just sounding so different, but I appreciate you guys for bearing with me here and staying with me through it. It's just the season we're in, sickness is going around, but be sure you like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you would like to see in the future, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!